You already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. So the question is, do I need to join OnlyFans? I mean, is that where the money resides? We're going to talk about how we got there in just a second, right? But first things first, we got to talk about Jennifer calling out VH1, Shaunie Henderson, excuse me, as well as Evelyn. All right, let's get into the tea that is spreading around the internet. Okay, so the headline reads, Jennifer calls out Shaunie for not checking Evelyn, claims the show edits episodes in favor of Evelyn, and basically says you should also call her on her BS too. Shaunie does not check her. She also had some choice words for Shaunie because she feels like Shaunie shaded her, and as a first lady, Shaunie should have had a bit more respect for her than to shade her nuptials. Because remember during the episode when it was asked if Shaunie was going to attend the wedding, and she was like, well, Jen did not like that too much. So apparently she was indeed invited to the Paris wedding. I guess she didn't go to that, so that much is clear. Christian basically says he would not have wanted her there because he does not know her. They do an inordinate amount of complaining about VH1 in particular, the network, for basically protecting Evelyn. All right, so I'm going to say it like this. I mean, they're protecting their investment. I mean, Evelyn is obviously there for a reason, and we clearly know that she is kind of like the Giselle of the Basketball Wives franchise, and that's not saying that with any shade per se, but that's just saying that someone is there to move the story, right? Someone is there to make things happen. Someone is there to anchor the girls, and it is clear that that's pretty much Evelyn's role, right? If the story is not moving, she is there to assist and move things along. Some people love it and some people don't. Okay. She's gonna pop off when necessary, and she's going to help keep those ratings up by basically providing the controversy that the show needs to function on. That's just the reality of it, right? And so, again, it's so interesting to me. I mean, I get it because Jen is on the receiving end of Evelyn's wrath at this point. But, in some prior seasons, it's interesting to me that, I don't know, sometimes I feel like with Jen, it feels a bit like you are okay with it as long as it's not you, right? Then once it becomes you, then you're no longer okay with it. But I guess that's life, right? That's kind of life. That could describe a lot of people, a lot of places, a lot of things. They essentially say that, well, Christian essentially says this, that Evelyn is Shaunie's puppet, basically doing what Shaunie needs to get done. She's acting in the interest of Shaunie, acting as Shaunie's mouthpiece. And, he issues quite the warning to Evelyn about, leaving him and his family alone. Okay. I don't know where it would go outside of that, but they call out the editors for not showing that Evelyn called the auntie a "see you next Tuesday" in the post on social media. I wasn't sure if they blocked it out because I can't even remember the post, to be honest with you now. So I would have to go back and watch the episode, but I don't know if they just blocked it out because it's not a kosher word to post on the show. I really don't know. I mean, it's a word that I ain't even trying to say. So that it could be that. It's just not a word that comes out of my mouth anyway. See you next Tuesday. I just don't use that word. So I don't know. I don't know what the case is, but all I know is they are calling them out. If you watch the entire video, it's on their YouTube channel, which is why I'm not playing any excerpts from it. They go in about, Evelyn allegedly working with, the attorney that is leading the charge with everything that's kind of going on with the people that have made some very serious claims against Christian. And they also post some receipts, apparently, from, I'm assuming it's Kiki, who is Carl's cousin, who is Evelyn's baby's father. So they essentially post some receipts indicating that a refund was allegedly offered to Kiki, but apparently they make it seem like she decided to forego receiving the refund payment in lieu of participating in the lawsuit. So they called it a money grab. You guys have to watch the entire video for yourself. I don't still quite, I don't know how that whole situation is playing out in terms of what his defense will be, because they don't really make that known outside of the fact that they make it known with some receipts that they flash on the screen that Kiki was allegedly offered a refund. Now, I don't know what that is to say about anybody else that, has their own grievances with him, but that's what they do address in the video. So I will link the video down. I got to find the full video again because it gets buried when you do a search for Kristen and Jennifer Gold. I forget what the channel is called right off the top of my head, but it's an interesting watch, and it does make you feel like this. This is what I left with after watching that video. I was thinking, do you guys even return to the show next season? Because they basically claim that, the entire season has really been spent on them. And, that is true. It's a big part of the storyline. But if that's not what you're looking for, then, the question becomes, should you even come back? Because based on the way Christian speaks, you kind of get the impression that he doesn't need the show, and doesn't want Jennifer to do it. Now, he doesn't quite say that, but that's the impression that I get. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Do you think that they should return to the show next season? I feel like when you get to the point where you're calling out production, you're calling out the network, it's probably a good sign that you may not return. And apparently, they were also trying to negotiate their own wedding special, but things became very, very complicated with the venue in Paris. And it just became a situation that was, they say that it was not going to be worth the cost of what they would have to incur should anything go wrong. And everybody from them, and including the network, thought it was just too much. So they didn't go through with the special. So there's that. There's that extra bit of tea. Some interesting other tea that I found, which is the reason why I asked you guys, do we need to go over to the OnlyFans? I mean, is that what? Because listen, I'm all about making money and making content and not leaving a dime on the table. And apparently, according to Evelyn Lozada, she says that her earnings on OnlyFans could easily surpass her check from Basketball Wives. Shout out to the Neighborhood Talk for the first story, and shout out to the Jasmine Brand for this one, and our boy House of Aaron. Now, this is according to her conversation with In Touch magazine. She basically says, I'm not leaving $1 on the table. I feel like the page is doing great, but the sky's the limit with OnlyFans. If I wasn't doing Basketball Wives and was just doing that, I could definitely make more money than I make there. But I love doing the show. So apparently she started OnlyFans during the pandemic. Then she took a break, and then she later returned with the help from a management team. She says, we've been doing it for a couple of years now. For clarity, I'm not in there busting it wide open. She says, I'm always mindful, but whatever I post on there, if it hits the airwaves, I'm fine with it. She then says, it could be in a bathing suit. It could be lingerie. She says, yes, I'm a grandma and I'm 40, but I feel great. Wow. Listen, I've always heard that the OnlyFans world is like legit, like where it's at. but I didn't know she was making her salary or more from OnlyFans. I mean, from OnlyFans, she's making more than that than she is on Basketball Wives. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Are you all running over to OnlyFans? Should we all run over to the OnlyFans and set up accounts? I mean, why not? Why not? And if you didn't think that the Drew and Ralph situation could get any crazier, let me just tell you.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, it gets crazier. Okay. So let's talk about Ralph, Drew, and the woman in the basement. Yes. Everybody get your hot dogs ready because I know you like them burnt. We're about to get into this crazy story right here. So apparently, Drew, while she's doing the press rounds for Real Housewives of Atlanta, I think it's today is reunion day. So we should be getting some reunion tea very, very soon. Oh my God, maybe we got something right now because they put out that seating chart typically today. So we'll probably be back with another video today. But I'm sure that seating chart will be out momentarily. But yes. Okay, so here's what's going on. So apparently, Ralph has been having some company down in the basement. I mean, to me, they're both getting a divorce. So everybody got needs, right? But how Drew found out is the tea for me. Okay. So apparently, this woman is a mother that is, I guess, is like this, the kids are in school together or something like that. So she says that the woman was like mean mugging her or something to that degree, but that when I guess they were introduced to each other at some event, Drew said that she then remembered seeing the woman's name on the list of visitors at their home. Because basically, she says that since they live in a gated community, she has a list of all of the people who have visited their home. And that lady is allegedly the woman who has been visiting Ralph down in the basement. Okay. Down in the basement. Now, there's a part of me that feels like, well, y'all getting a divorce. It's free game for everybody to be doing their thing. I mean, according to Ming, you were on the phone with Ty for 3,500 and 600 minutes. So, I mean, is it a problem that Ralph has some women's down to the basement? I don't know. I guess it depends on what the rules of engagement that you guys have set are for the boundaries. Like, are people allowed to come in the house? Did the judge tell y'all that? I mean, I don't know what's going on up in that house because one minute we see them, they screaming at each other on the show, trying not to have things unsealed or sealed. And, the judge is basically saying that the kids can't know anything, but they got to stay in the house, or Ralph got to stay in the basement. And then the next time you see them online, they're in a video cooking together and he's talking about, she calls him daddy in the kitchen. It's just giving weird to me. And this woman in the basement story is even crazier. But listen, I love it. Okay. Keep us entertained. Keep it going, y'all. Keep it going. Continue to confuse us. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine with it. I mean, all will be answered at the reunion. Wink. Anyway, with that being said, that's all the tea we got for you guys for right now. But obviously, that reunion seating chart will be out very, very soon. So, with that being said, I will catch you all in the next video.